Sing choirs of angels, sing in exultation. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Yea, Lord, we greet thee, born this happy morning. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
So I wonder why we don't clap for that, you know? I only say that because, you know, some songs might be considered too holy to clap. You know, it's like you're supposed to internalize this, you know? You've got to feel it. And in order to feel it, you can't clap. But I think that you did a wonderful job, Michelle and Mitch. You always do a wonderful job, so we appreciate that very much. So we take artistic license with some songs, and you heard that there, you know. We just sing the words we know. We don't have to sing the rest. I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, you guys, and some of you know me, some of you don't. I am really happy to see new people in the audience, and I thank you for being here. You're so welcome to be here. We are an incredibly warm and loving space, and we not only love to see new people, but we invite them into the way that we feel. Spiritually, emotionally. We invite you into the realm of love. We think that this sanctuary here is a place where you can truly feel it. You know, we believe that this sanctuary, given the plants on the outside and the way that it's set up, it has beautiful acoustics, is a holy place. It's a beautiful space for each of us to come and share the love that we have, not only for each other, but for spirituality itself. So we're doing Advent stuff, you know, Advent stuff, and today's talk is about joy. So we're doing Advent joy today. And we relate that to our understanding of how this whole system of the spiritual, the physical, the unseen, the now, the later, the before, all work together. You know, we use unity principles in order to describe some of these things. And so I've created this little saying I'd like you to join me in, if you will, please. There's only one thing. It may look like more than one thing. It may feel like more than one thing. But it's only one thing. Expressing as you, expressing as me, and everything we see. Yeah. So we're also on live stream. You probably saw the PowerPoint slide for an extended period of time which said, we are now streaming, which means that people are seeing the back of your heads as we speak. And but they're also seeing the front of the stage, which is a wonderful thing, and they're hearing what it is we have to say, and we love that too. If you're new on live streaming, you guys, welcome. And what you can do is you can share it to other people who may not be here yet. You can do that via YouTube. You can do that via Facebook or whatever other devices you might use. You just go to our website as well, unityofpasadena.org, and you'll be able to to do all of the things you need to do to let people know what you're up to. So, Unity of Pasadena, here we are. Let's join again in our unity, our unity blessing, please. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are. We also have a statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God the good omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and power. So let's sink into prayer. Let's just take a nice deep breath and release it. And know that God is present right here, right now, in this very space. Spirit, the Almighty, universal mind, universal love, all of that, all of those words are words for this infinite resource and source that we oftentimes call God or Spirit. We welcome that right here and right now. Oftentimes as well, we call this presence love. And so what we can do is we can summon up that feeling of love, whether it's for a person, a loved one that we maybe are missing or are just loving each and every day of our lives with, or whether it's a pet or a place or something that moves you, that allows you to feel this feeling of love. Just summon that right now to your mind's eye, to your heart space. There is the presence of God. Each of us here today are drawn together by a beauty, a love for that absolute power and presence that we align with, a love for a learning and a yearning that we have to be together, to connect, and to understand principles that are oftentimes mysterious. We come here to learn how to take those principles and move to our greater yet to be. And we are just so grateful to have a space for that. We're so grateful for the people that offer this space up to us and make sure that it contains all of the things that are necessary for those transformational experiences to occur. We are so grateful for our board of trustees who make sure that everything is as it should be here. We're so grateful for our prayer chaplains who hold the light for us. And we are so grateful for our musicians that absolutely bring it all together and allow us to feel the love of God deep inside of us. We're so grateful for all of the volunteers, those that do the PowerPoint, those that do the sound and the live streaming and greet you at the door, those that bring the food, that not only bring nutrition for us, but allow us a space to sit and talk about the things that we've heard and the things that we've learned and the things that we know and the things that we want to know. We're just grateful for Unity of Pasadena. And in that gratitude, we know that all this is done already. All this beauty is already unfolding. All this transformation is happening. The seeds are planted. The watering is going on. We're grateful for that. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that they're done. Please join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right. Well, I see Christmas outfits all over the place in red. For those of you that are on live streaming, we have a packed house today. There may be thousands here today. Scooch over a little bit, so that we have some more room. Now, we recognize that sometimes the Christmas season things are going on. Things are absolutely going on. And I know that sometimes that makes some of us a little bit later than others. So I will bet you that there are 20 more people on their way. And they'll be here by the time we sing our peace song today. Peace song today. So, we do a 3-minute question, you guys. That's the next thing on the agenda today. And I picked something out of the basket. And what did I do with the basket? There it is. People throw questions in this basket, and I get a chance to pull them out and answer them. And the goal is to do it within 3 minutes, but that, I don't know how often that happens. But I don't miss it by much. I really don't miss it by much if I miss it at all. Let's see if I can stay within those parameters today. Oh, all right. Well, here we go. Father Richard Rohr. You know, I really appreciate Father Richard Rohr. You guys know that, and every chance I get, we're sitting around the table, I'll pull out the pictures of he and I having breakfast together. It's really fun. So I love it when somebody asks a question about Father Richard Rohr. The two paths of universal transformation, bigger than any religion, are, this is what he said, great love and great suffering, and these have the capacity to awaken the soul. What is your opinion? Does that sound familiar? Did I read that once before? No, I don't think I have. But I think about it a lot. I do. And I read a lot of Richard Rohr, and he talks about this, that transformation is an experience that is usually as a result of something bigger than us pushing us to the next level, something driving us to become our greater yet to be, something that moves us either out of a space of suffering or into that space of love, unconditional love perhaps. But what drives that most often for each and every one of us, according to Father Richard Rohr, is the suffering. We want a way out. We find that we're hurt for some reason, or we have somehow allowed situations, people, circumstances to create in us this feeling of dis-ease. And that suffering that we feel is uncomfortable for sure. And that suffering, that uncomfortability, oftentimes is the impetus for us to change, for us to move to our greater yet to be. I don't know how many of you have quit a job before because you were suffering in that job. I don't know how many people have quit a marriage because you were suffering in the marriage. I mean, whatever it is that you moved out of, yeah, I see hands going up. Whatever it is that you had to move out of because of suffering allowed you to fill that space with something new. And perhaps that is something that is driving you to a transformational experience, to your greater yet to be, to that next superb moment in your life. Of course, great suffering is often the reason why we make these shifts, but we can also do it through great love. Some people do that through great love. And I'll use Father Richard Rohr for that, because, he moved into a space where many people would say he lives in jail, essentially a prison of his own making. He doesn't have a spouse. He's a Franciscan monk. He has rituals that he attends to every single day. They are set for him. And so he can't make a lot of his own personal decisions around what he wants to do. And many of us probably have been kept out of religious experiences and travels as a result of that kind of thing. I mean, what's it going to do to my life? How's it going to constrict me? We find ourselves even managing to forget the moments in meditation and prayer because it's hard. It's hard to dedicate yourself even an hour a day to those things because we have so much to do, let alone a lifetime. But I think he would describe this as stepping into a transformational experience for him out of great love, out of a calling, that he couldn't keep himself from doing this. That's what a calling is. That calling draws you to whatever that experience is. And you could call it great love if you like. I call it great love. You might have things in your life that have called you. And if you look behind them, it's usually great love. And that can lead to a transformational experience too. I know as a person who's been to 2 different seminaries that there's a calling that transforms you, whether you want it to or not. And I see a lot of heads nodding there too. So I don't know how we did on this 3-minute question. The question can last 3 minutes, but the answer probably lasted about 5. Is that about 4 minutes? Yeah, okay. So you guys, we have hopefully a transformational experience for you today. And it usually starts with the mood. Yeah? Yeah? So, Mitch, would you sing us in?
Absolutely.
I'd like to play a song for you today that I wrote called The Miracle of Lights.
Bless the miracle of lights. Let's pray for peace. Make the fight within, then the fire will cease. It's the miracle of lights around the world tonight. Deep inside, love is a rose. Meditate and it will grow. It's the miracle of lights. Let's pray for peace. If you're searching for the gift, see it in the sands that shift. It's the miracle of lights. Transcends all that divides. You are my brother, I believe. We are one soul, don't be deceived. It's the miracle of lights around the world tonight. Deep inside, love is a rose. Meditate and it will grow. It's the miracle of lights. Let's pray for peace. If you're searching for the gift, see it in the sands that shift. It's the miracle of lights. Transcends all that divides. You are my brother, I believe. We are one soul, don't be deceived. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
We are one soul. Don't be deceived. Thank you. Beautiful, Mitch. Thank you so much. All right, I'm here to read the daily word. Okay. There. Okay, thank you. All right, before we read the daily word, let's take a nice deep cleansing breath in and release. And this daily word, as many of them are written in the personal, in the I statement. So when I say I, you can just say it along with me, and it's about you. So please take these words in for yourself. And the word is joy. Joy uplifts me as divine light shines from within me. As Advent season draws to a close, I celebrate the light that glows from within me, the light of the Christ within. Just as the 3 wise men journeyed to Bethlehem to see the newborn child, my journey through Advent has led me to discover the faith, peace, and love that are always mine. These are the true gifts of Christmas, ones I carry with me all year long. No matter the challenges and obstacles I may be called to face, I will draw from my infinite storehouse of joy to remain optimistic and centered. Joy is mine today. It is the fulfillment of my Advent journey, my divine inheritance. It is in the fullness of my heart, the contentment of my mind, and the deep feeling of wellness in my soul. I am joyous. And from Matthew 2, verse 10, when they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. And so it is. Amen.
Well, happy Sunday, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to pray with you. Let us take a moment to relax our thoughts as you allow that breath to surrender to that quiet space within. By breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. We know the power of love is our breath and our very being. It is our innate power to unify, harmonize, and heal. When we open ourselves to the power of love, we can honestly and authentically meet anything that arises with compassion and spaciousness. Anger softens, reactions quiet, and fear subsides. Possibilities arise as we see anew. We can meet the deepest challenge with equanimity and calm. Love enables us to see and know wholesome, even when it feels elusive. This through the power of love that we heal ourselves and the world. As we now move into a 2-minute period of silence. As we open our eyes, let us say the prayer of St. Francis together slowly. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine presence, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is through grace that we are given eternal life. Okay. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday and Merry Christmas.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered would soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to the blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm a storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels trod? When you kiss your little baby, you've kissed the face of God. The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy has heaven's perfect lamb, and the sleeping child you're holding is the great I am?
I was sitting there thinking, what a beautiful song. And then the next thought in my mind was, it's my turn. and then you know what happens after that? You know, you start to get a little bit nervous and you go, wow, do I have all this together? Do I really know what I'm going to be talking about? Well, the answer to that is sometimes not right away. But once I get into it, it seems to unfold beautifully and nicely, and I know that is because I don't force things. You know, we just, some people say let Spirit speak through us, but I'm not that grandiose. What I think is that if I learn something well enough, or if I feel something deeply enough, I can just allow it to unfold in my own way, and I don't have to necessarily read what other people have written. Or long sections of stories, but I am going to read a thing or two today, and we're going to do another meditation today. How many of you enjoyed the meditations during this Advent season? All right, yeah, I have two, and this one, of course, is on joy. But you know that I have the Book of Greg here. Now, this is Volume 2, For those of you that have not been here before, I do a lot of writing, and I have sometimes placed in the book of Greg some poems I like that other people have written, quotes that I really particularly enjoy, verses from the Bible, discussions of individuals that I have heard and understood and decided to place into something that's beautiful and a keepsake for me. So a lot of things go in this, but they're generally ideas. And so I was up until after the ringing of the 12 o'clock chimes. We live reasonably close to a church, and I guess I should say the good news is that the chimes are beautiful. The bad news is that they go on all night. I mean, you can hear them at 1 a.m., you can hear them at 2 a.m., and 3 a.m., and you just think to yourself, what? But yeah, I heard the 12 o'clock chimes last night, and I was in the midst of doing some writing that I particularly feel today, and I'll tell you the lines that I really feel. But so this is what I wrote early this morning. It's about the birth of the Christ child. The birth of the Christ child is a sacred poem, one without words, one that can only be felt, a balm for the soul's longing for its equal in the physical realm. The poetry of this moment in time is the thread that connects each of us soul to soul, soul to creator, past to present, and the here and now to the great beyond. I underlined this because for some reason this one hit me, and it hit me as soon as I wrote it, that this circumstance, this situation that is described, the birth of the Christ child, and we look at it as not only the birth of the Christ child, but the birth of the Christ consciousness in that moment, one that we can adopt, one that we can align with, one that we can actually transform ourselves to meet it. But this birth of the Christ child, this poetry, this mystery, is a balm for the soul's longing for its equal in the physical realm. I thought to myself, man, that's the reason for people, building edifices, huge churches, that reach toward the sky, for the need to bring the spiritual to this moment, this physical time and place. The Lord's Prayer says, bring heaven to earth. And I think that the soul is always longing for those moments wherein we feel that this is it. This is the heaven that we wish to bring to earth. And I think that is really the basis for the Christ story, the basis for the birth story. And it's a fascinating story, isn't it? I mean, it's a great story. It's a magnificent story. It's a story that was told over and over and over and over again. But here's an interesting idea. And I was having a discussion with Jolinda this morning, and she's a great person to have a discussion with if you ever feel like having one. And I asked her if she had ever contemplated this idea. The preface is that Jesus spoke in parables. He told parables, and they began in this fashion, usually. They said, the kingdom of heaven is like. And then he went on to describe some things that would allow people to kind of put the puzzle together, It's like, this is about, that we're cared for, that we, or whatever the issue might be of the day. But he oftentimes started with the kingdom of heaven is like. Told a lot of stories. But there's one story that's notable that he did not tell. He didn't tell his own story. He did not tell his own story. Why didn't he tell his own story? I mean, you could very well suspect that, somebody maybe who was perhaps less humble, less understanding of the human condition might stand up in front of a crowd of 5,000 and say, I was born of a virgin in a manger, humble beginnings, and 3 kings showed up and gave you some stuff. You know? A lot of shepherds there. There was the humility of the shepherd. There was the humility of the manger, animals around. And a North Star led these magnificent kings to my side, They never told that story. I don't know whether or not you've ever thought about that, but my feeling is that people wouldn't have believed him. If he had told that story, people wouldn't have believed him. But what that means that he didn't tell the story is that it may not be necessary for you to hear that story in order to understand the power of the Christ consciousness. It may not be necessary for that to be in the mix. It may not be necessary to say, oh, I believe that with all my heart. He didn't tell it. But what I do believe with all my heart is the documented acts of courage and kindness and beauty and love and peace and joy. Joy is such a big deal in our human emotion. In fact, it's more than an emotion, I think. I think it's the backdrop for life. It's a worldview. It's a way of looking at things. It's a way of bringing about this feeling that you're connected. It's more than just an emotion. But it's such a big one that you have to imagine that Jesus engaged in it a lot. I love those depictions of the laughing Jesus. The Jesus with the big smiling face, drawing people to him through his emotional magnetism, through the beauty that he, expressed in the way that he looked and the way he handled things and the way he really, really lived life. It's terrific. I just love it. But for some reason, you don't see many of those things. You don't see many of these depictions of Jesus in any other mood but a somber mood. It's like, how did he attract people to him with that dour look on his face, I don't think that's the way it worked. I really don't. I think he was a joyous individual that just absolutely attracted people to him. Joyous. So I wrote something about that, and it goes like this, and it interests me when I write things that sort of remind me that there's a literary device within the things I write that I didn't even know existed. And you'll know what I'm talking about when I read this. So this is it. To connect with joy is to recognize you're good. To connect with joy is to recognize you're good. To recognize you're good is to consciously connect with God. Good, God, yes. Emily Curtis Hopkins said that her God is her good. And she used those words interchangeably. I mean, she's as spiritual a person as you would have ever met, and the teacher of many, many great teachers themselves, the teacher of teachers. And she thought that God and good were interchangeable. So to recognize you're good is to consciously connect with God. To consciously connect with God is to connect with life. To connect with life is to immerse yourself in joy. So what that statement says, to connect with joy is to recognize you're good. To recognize you're good is to consciously connect with God. To consciously connect with God is to connect with life. To connect with life is to immerse yourself in joy. Comes back upon itself. You start with the object of joy, and it works through all of those transitions and comes back to something that brings about the joy, which was the original object. I thought to myself, that's got to be some sort of literary, trick, because I've read those before and I really enjoy them, and so I thought I would try my hand at the joy thing. But so I looked it up. I asked ChatGPT. I asked AI, what is this? I put it into AI and I said, is this some sort of literary device? And how about that? I used an old Italian literary device called gradatio. You ever heard of that? Gradatio. It's known also as climactic chain. And each repetition adds weight and insight or expansion. The movement is intentional and directional. So I wrote a gradatio. You know, that sounds a little bit like, well, my wife's Italian, so it could very well be like an Italian appetizer. Would you try some of the gradatio? But, you know, the point was to just get across in the best way possible this idea of joy. And I started thinking, you know, there are, I'm sure, some ideas of joy that cross cultural lines and you know, are just as true in the Christian tradition as they are in the Buddhist tradition or the Hindu tradition or the Jewish tradition. These ideas are not just singularly available in a particular religion. You know, because we celebrate Christmas coming, the birth of the Christ consciousness, the birth of Jesus, which is a Christian ideal, doesn't mean that it has a monopoly in joy. I mean, joy is all over the place. It really is talked about in so many different ways. So I thought, you know, there's a book of joy that I've read, and it was created by Bishop Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama when they met. The Book of Joy is about that meeting that they had with one another in 2015. In 2015, it was decided that these two should meet again. They had met once before. They met in 1990, and they had a great conversation with each other. Two very, if you will, holy men who have lived lives of dedicated service, not only to their religious tradition, but to others. They certainly have that in common. And when they got together in 2015, it was in India. And it was necessary that it be in India, of course. It's not in Tibet, because the Dalai Lama had been exiled from Tibet for, at that point in time, 56 years. I mean, I don't know if you know the Dalai Lama tradition, the Tibetan tradition of a Dalai Lama. But it's really, really interesting. It's a tremendous story about culture and how the Buddhist religious traditions bring about the experience of a leader. So there's a child that is chosen typically after the death of a Dalai Lama, chosen because all the signs point to this being the reincarnated, just past Dalai Lama. So they're looking for a child that exhibits these peaceful moments, the beauty in the eye, the depth of the soul that's visible and palpable, the atmosphere that's created around this child. In any event, this Dalai Lama was chosen at age 2 and was taken to the palace where he was raised by monks, taught by monks. Although his mother was nearby, he did not live with his mother. He was not taught by his mother. He got to visit his mother, but his mother was not the main parenting person. This is the fate of a Dalai Lama. You know, this is the gilded cage of a Dalai Lama, if you will. The spiritual leader that is expected to be certain things and raised in a fashion which will allow that person to meet those expectations. So, interestingly enough, when he was exiled, which was in, I don't know the exact time, but it had to be somewhere in the early 1950s, when China decided to take back what they thought was their territory, stepped in and took over Tibet. They decided this used to be ours, so we're taking it now. And they did, and it created a very difficult situation which demanded that the Dalai Lama take a position, take a side, to step into the resistance of the Tibetan people and kind of be like a messiah, you know, the messiah idea. You're going to be the person that drives this fight, you know? And he said, no, that's not me. Caught between a rock and a hard place in the middle of the night. He had to leave Tibet, and he did. Of course, Tibet no longer exists because China has subsumed it. China has taken it. But he talks about that in this meeting with Desmond Tutu, and it's fascinating for him to discuss how that tragic time in his life became one of the most beautiful and fertile areas for transformation, bringing about the joy of expressing who he is and what he does in all parts of the world, not just from a palace. Anywhere he needed to go, he could go. Except, it seems, to South Africa, they wouldn't let him go there. They would not approve the Dalai Lama's visa to South Africa. So the bishop, Desmond Tutu, had to come to him in India. And he did this in 2015. Oh, the book, which is written as a result of that experience, the Book of Joy, is fantastic. But you know what's even better? The documentary where it shows them intermingling for 5 days and talking to each other about things that are important to them, about their trials, their tribulations, their suffering, their connection with life, how they do it, what joy means to them, how important it is. That was the singular subject that you could draw that thread through. And this was their major intent, it seemed. You know, if they were to draw an intention from the things that they talked about, you'd say, yes, your intention must have been to do a deep dive into joy and how it's expressed in your life. And these two act like 8-year-old kids together. It's incredible. You can watch the documentary on Netflix. It's absolutely magnificent. The documentary on Netflix is called Mission Joy: Finding Happiness in Troubled Times. You can also pick it up on YouTube if you like. If you just put that in, Mission Joy, the Dalai Lama and Bishop Desmond Tutu, you'll get an hour and a half YouTube, which is a presentation that encapsulates it beautifully. I just love it, watching those two together, talking about something as important as joy, but more than that, expressing it in ways that you can just totally understand. I mean, the humanity of what this joy thing looks like is on full display. It's absolutely magnificent. I think that if you treat yourself to that, you'll love it. You will truly, truly love it. So this joy thing, it seems, is something we can all take hold of. We can all grasp it if we so desire. You know, sometimes it takes a reframe. Hold on, for those of you who haven't seen this. See this, if you might have looked at it and went, wow, what is that? You know, re what? It's reframe. Frame around it, see, reframe. And so the idea is that sometimes you may need, in order to find your joy, to reframe something, which is what the Dalai Lama spends about 10 minutes talking about. He actually uses the word reframe. He actually uses the word reframe to talk about how he took one of the most painful moments in his life, being drawn away from not just his family, but his country, the place where he expected he would live the rest of his life, and whisked away to a place where he might still not have been safe. But he made a life, and he made the changes that were necessary. And soon enough, gratitude followed, because that experience was transformative. And when gratitude follows, joy is next on the list. And he talks about that. He talks about how he had to reframe this, because he could have spent his whole life talking about this story, about how horrible it was that he had to leave in the middle of the night, and people were chasing him. You know, isn't this interesting? I mean, if you read the Christ story in the Gospels, you'll note that same circumstance occurs in that story. You know, Herod, looking for him. He's the new king. I got to get rid of him. I'm the king. It's a very, very common idea, but it shows up in the Dalai Lama's story. And he's reframed that tragedy, that suffering, into something that is today incredibly joyous. And he talks about being released from that gilded cage. He talks about being able to actually hands-on help people. Service is a big deal to both Desmond Tutu and to the Dalai Lama. And I have a couple of quotes here that talk about that. So the Dalai Lama said, the more time you spend thinking about yourself, the more suffering you will experience. And I think that's probably true. Bishop Desmond Tutu said, discovering more joy does not, I'm sorry to say, save us from the inevitability of hardships and heartbreaks. In fact, we can cry more easily, but we will laugh more easily too. Perhaps we're just more alive. Yet as we discover more joy, we face suffering in a way that ennobles rather than embitters. Wow, joy, a transformational idea, a transformational way of living your life. It's beautiful stuff. Taking care of others, helping others, ultimately is the way to discover your own joy and to have a happy life. Two people who are of service all the time, talk about how that service has saved them, has enabled them to, no matter what they're going through, feel this sensation of aliveness, this connection to spirit, this connection to God, this connection to, as I might say, their good, connection to life itself. But here's the good news, you guys. We can do that. We can do all that stuff. We can connect to joy. We can connect to life. We can connect to our good. We can look in each other's eyes and say, I'm glad I met you. And there's a seed planted for the joy that is ours whenever we want it. So let's sink into a meditation that I have written just for this day. I call it the joy that is alive in us, because as I promised you, during this Advent season, we were going to talk about some principles that are promised to us through this process of Advent, through the process of the birth of the baby Jesus. But we don't have to wait. There is no waiting. It is ours. So the joy that is alive in us. So please just settle into a comfortable position. Allow your spine to lengthen gently, your shoulders to soften. Close your eyes or rest them softly on a single point. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it gently. In unity, Advent is a journey of awakening. Hope opens us, faith steadies us, peace embraces us, love expands us. And now the joy that is alive within us rises to our conscious awareness. This is not a joy that waits for conditions to improve. This is Advent joy. The joy that arrives with us. The joy that dares to be born even in an imperfect world. Silently affirm to yourself, joy is alive in me now. Joy is alive in me now. Bring your awareness gently to your heart space. Notice what is present there today. Peace or perhaps restlessness, gratitude, maybe sorrow, expectation. Whatever you find, allow it. Joy does not require you to be free of feeling. Joy asks only that you be awake and open. As Archbishop Desmond Tutu reminds us, joy is not the absence of suffering, it is the presence of love. Silently affirm to yourself, I allow joy to meet me where I am. I allow joy to meet me where I am. There is wisdom in joy and sorrow. Listen now to these words from Khalil Gibran, allowing them to settle into your awareness. The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Let these words remind you, joy and sorrow are not enemies. They are companions on the path of becoming whole. Breathe gently into that truth. I know my heart is wide enough to hold it all. Now imagine a gentle light glowing at the center of your heart. The Christ light, the light of awareness, the spark of the divine within you. With each breath, it grows brighter, not blinding, but warm, steady, and alive. This light does not deny the world's pain, it illumines it. From this light, notice how your life looks when seen with spiritual perspective. The challenges you face are chapters, not conclusions. You are held in something larger than this moment. Silently affirm, I see my life through the eyes of divine understanding. I see my life through the eyes of divine understanding. Gratitude is a doorway to joy. Now gently turn your attention to gratitude. What has sustained you? What quiet strength has carried you through? What grace has met you unexpectedly? Let gratitude arise naturally. Picture the flame of gratitude lighting a candle with your name on it. You hold it. It is you. You are the light that emanates from this candle. You and the light have become one. Silently affirm, gratitude awakens joy within me. Gratitude awakens joy within me. Bring to mind the truth that all people long for joy and all people know struggle. As you breathe in, imagine compassion filling your heart. As you breathe out, imagine that compassion extending to others, to loved ones, to strangers, even to those with whom you disagree. Give that compassion to all. Joy grows when the heart widens. Joy is a sacred yes. Advent joy is not passive. It is an active yes to life. It says, my good is here now. No more waiting. I say, yes, I love again. I say, yes, I forgive again. I say, yes, I hope again. Yes, I have the courage to live with an open heart. Allow that yes to echo within you. Say that yes silently to yourself. Yes to life. Now rest in stillness for a few moments. No effort, no striving, just being. Feel joy not as excitement, but as deep spiritual aliveness, quiet, resilient, real. This is the joy that is born in Advent. This is the joy that walks with you. Begin to bring your awareness back to this room. You feel the seat beneath you, supporting you. Notice your breath. Notice that you're present in a space with others. Feel the atmosphere of love in this room. Take a deep breath of joy. Carry this joy with you into your words, your choices, your relationships. Take one final deep breath in and gently release it. When you're ready, open your eyes. So I'm convinced that Advent's not a time of waiting. There's no more waiting. No more waiting. Take it now. Be it. Live it. Bring heaven to earth. That was our idea from way back when. And so when I say the word namaste, what I'm saying is the God in me recognizes the God in you. And since we were hanging out in India for a while, during that story of Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama, know this. I love you. Namaste. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, it's time for Norma. Norma. You're going to bring a basket, and you're going to bring a list of people who are watching, and you do that because you are ushing. And this is what ushers do. Oh, wow, what a day. We got Virginia. We got Mike and Carol. So glad to see you guys, or to feel you guys, to see you through our heart, the eyes of our heart. Audrey's on. Audrey. We got Cindy DaCosta and Cindy DaCosta Van Dusen. I like that name. That just sort of rings, doesn't it? Cindy DaCosta Van Dusen. Sue Haynes. We got Rosalind. We got Reva. We got Austin. And I'm sure Paris will also be seeing this later on. Good to know you're there, Austin. We have Steve and Care who are on today. And by the way, hold Care in your heart gently as she's recovering from an upper respiratory issue, and know her perfect, whole, and complete nature. And so we support all of you who are on this line. Oh, we have more. We have Ellen Munoz here. Some of you know Ellen. Hello, Ellen. And we have Colleen. Colleen's coming in from Illinois. We also have Charles DeTurk, who's from Michigan, and we got Charlene, who's from Tennessee. So we're attracting the whole world, aren't we? It's good news. I'm going to put this right there. All right? And what we're going to do right now is we're going to practice our conscious giving. And what we do is we support one another. And the way that we support one another is to step into this world of giving, which is a service in and of itself. We serve that which we love. And in my case, and I hope in yours, that Unity of Pasadena is one of those spaces. And it's one of those spaces because it's true that each and every one of you are Unity of Pasadena. Serving one another is the beauty of life. We say together our conscious giving statement, and if you have a gift, please place it over your heart. God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful, and so it is.
For this next song, I ask everyone, please sing along. And hopefully we might have some lyrics up there, but there we go.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare his room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rock hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love.
We promise to use these tithes and treasures with integrity. We promise to utilize these tithes and treasures for the benefit not only of Unity of Pasadena and its congregation, all the people that form that fantastic, wonderful union of hearts, but for the surrounding community, for all those in need of a shift, of a change in consciousness, of a greater yet to be, whatever that looks like in their lives. And so we're a beacon of light here in the community, and we grasp a hold of that, and we say, we are who we say we are. We're so grateful. We're so thankful. We release these words with the law of mind, knowing that they're done. And please join me by saying, and so it is, amen. Thank you so much, Norma. I appreciate it. Barbara, come on up. By the way, for those of you who do not know, Barbara is our board president. And she can sing, and she can talk, and she can do all those things in such a beautiful way. She's really good at that stuff. I hope she's better than I am at microphone stands. Why don't you do that?
I do. I'll just hold it. Well, and thank you, Reverend Greg, for that very uplifting homily. And where you spoke about transforming ourselves to meet our joy. And we will find joy by keeping our adherence to our vision, mission, and core values. So let's say them together. Our vision: imagine world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission: transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And our core values are? Thank you. You've got the spirit, folks. And so does our hospitality team for today, who is being hosted by those whose last name begins with K through R. And next Sunday, the fourth Sunday, will be the team S through Z. Thank you, everyone who participates every single week. And it's an enjoyable time to get together after service. Our food drive is continuing, so thank you for continuing to bring, bags of canned and dry goods. As they accumulate, we take them to one of the local food banks. And on Tuesdays, we still have gentle stretch class with Michelle over here, but she's added a new feature. So if you want to come early at 10:05, meet in the parking lot, and as she's demonstrating, we're putting one foot in front of the other, warming yourself up for the gentle chair exercises to come when you reach the indoors. Now, if it's pouring down rain, I don't know, maybe she'll have you march around the hall. I'm not sure. Okay. And we have our Christmas Eve service on Wednesday. Come rain or high water, right? Okay. All right. May have to swim in, but it will be... we have it. Okay, right. Yeah. We'll have a bucket to put your umbrellas in and so forth. So we're looking forward to it. Prayer chaplains put in a great deal of effort into it. We'll also have they'll be providing some hot cider and some cookies afterwards after it's over. So see you here at 7. Just one thought, though. I'm not sure. There's a 12-step group that normally meets from 5:30 to 6:30. I don't know what their schedule is for Christmas Eve. But if you come early, you might, if they got a lot of people, you might have to circle the lot a few times until their meeting breaks up. And if any of you are coming early to set up, please come in the side doors, not to interrupt their meeting. But they're usually cleared out of here in about 10 minutes after their meeting's over. Okay, and I just wanted to double check with Helen, where'd you go? She disappeared. But the Thursday meditation is ongoing every single Thursday, 5:45 to 6:45 p.m., and they're always ready to welcome new people. One of the exciting things each year, the first Sunday in January is usually when we do it, and we're doing it January 4th this year. It's the annual Burning Bowl ceremony. So as you are making your list of resolutions or your list of items to release, whichever R you're going to follow, we will be taking some of the things we wish to release and writing them on a piece of paper and setting them afire and watching them disappear as a symbol of what we spiritually want to be doing. So, and that would also be a great Sunday to invite people who normally don't come here, who, like to experience something like that. And the last Sunday of the month, the 28th, is also when Basha and Pinocchio are returning with their Reiki sound baths. So see Jackie for sign-ups. And lastly, on Sunday afternoon, January the 18th, Reverend Gray's going to give his updated version of Unity, A Way of Life class, which will also be filled with robust discussion. And we'll be reviewing or introducing to some, reviewing for others, some of the points of our movement's history, what our basics are, why we think the way we do, and taking a peek into our future. So that's all I have for today. Reverend Greg, I turn it back over to you.
Well, we're going to be singing a peace song today, right?
We sure are.
But before that, we're going to be doing our silent unity prayer for protection. And so let's stand for that. While you're standing, let me just tell you and all of the new folks here that we have a way of bringing prayer into your lives if you so desire. We have prayer chaplains. Raise your hand if you're a prayer chaplain. That will come to you if you stay seated in your pew after we sing our peace song. A prayer chaplain will help you with any of your prayer needs and be right there for you. So if you need prayer, stay afterward. All right, so together let's say the silent unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator and beyond me. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment